Welcome to another day of Bhagavad Gita Sadhana. I'm Atmadarshan, or Laura, as you prefer. We've got another day of looking at the challenges of Samatvam. And Samatvam, being the overarching theme for the year, remember, can mean equanimity, being balanced in all situations. The Gita talks a lot about that. You can also look at it as being yourself, no matter what the circumstances, which for many of us can actually be more challenging. Today, we're focusing on a form of Shiva since Shivaratri is coming up. Oh, and by the way, we just had a couple spots open up. It was full, but a couple people canceled. So if you're interested in joining on Friday or the upcoming chat about this particular sadhana where we can all interact, please see the link below in the summary. And by the way, I really appreciate all the comments, emails, and texts you've been sending me about your experience. So please keep it up because we are talking about your experience today. One of the biggest obstacles to Samatvam is our vahana, our vehicle, our body. Now, vahanas are typically, when you look at iconography from the eastern areas, especially the Indian subcontinent, Vahanam is usually something that a deity rides. For example, Lord Shiva has his bull Nandi. And that's another reason why bulls are considered sacred in that part of the world. It's the vehicle of consciousness. And I read one website quote that I found interesting. A vehicle, Vahanam, is meant to give form to the formless, to give a shape to something divine and immaterial. And we can all look at our bodies like this. But why is the body sometimes an obstacle to our being able to feel equanimity or to feel ourselves? Because, well, the body changes, whereas what's inside of us is eternal. And we look at those changes and go, what? And sometimes, depending on the culture, we can go, what? Look at these wrinkles. Ugh, my body. Look at this gray hair. Ugh, my body. Look, I've got blemish. Ugh, my body, right? And we actually kind of mistreat our vehicles. And that can be a huge impediment to progress in our lives and on the spiritual path. In Bhagavad Gita, actually, Krishna addresses this more than once. And one of the first times he talks about it is in chapter 6, which is all about meditation, dhyan. Meditation is considered in many branches of yoga to be not only the pinnacle, but the vehicle for us realizing our true nature. And if we can't meditate, often many of us, it's because, I can't sit that way. My hips are not open. My back is stiff. I get hungry. I have to go to the bathroom, that kind of thing. But Krishna is actually exhorting us to take care of our vehicles. He says in chapter 6, verses 16 and 17, and I'll sing it from my translation, Hearing the Song of Your Soul, so you can hear it in the original rhythm. But yoga is not possible for anyone who eats too much or who does not eat anything, who sleeps too little or too long. Yoga becomes the destroyer of pain for one who moderates his diet, his recreation, and work, his sleep and wakefulness. So yoga is actually about learning to honor our body's requests in a healthy way and to maybe treat it as a vehicle of something divine. So today we'll have a little story. It's not from the Bhagavad Gita. It's actually comes from various sources, and it has many different details. If you've heard a different story, it's not wrong. It's just different. And it's the story of Lord Shiva's Vahana, his bull that he rides around. And that bull, I mentioned his name, Nandi. It is said that actually there was a sage who wanted a son, and he did tapas, he did austerities. And he caught Lord Shiva's attention, and Shiva came and said, "What can I do for you? What do you want so badly?" And the sage said, "I want a son." Shiva said, "You shall have one." So the sage had a beautiful boy whom he loved very much, and he trained him in all good knowledge. The boy turned out to be this epitome of behavior, of virtue, and he was still very young when some other sages came to visit who were impressed by young Nandi, that's the son's name, young Nandi's accomplishments. And as they left, they went to bless him, but then they pulled back and their faces grew sad. And the father said immediately, "What's wrong?" And he went outside with the sages. The sages said, "We can see your child's future. He is not destined to live a long life, not past 8 years old." And the father was heartbroken. He went back in, and the son, Nandi, said, "What's wrong, father?" And the father told him, and Nandi said, "Huh, Lord Shiva has done so much for you already. Surely he will do something for me." And Nandi went out. He was very devoted to Shiva, and actually it said as he went out, all he could think of was seeing Lord Shiva, consciousness, meeting his own inner self. And that inner self appeared to him in the form of Shiva and said, "What can I do for you?" And the boy said, "Wow, I really can't think of anything you can do for me. All I want to do now that you're here is just be with you forever." And Shiva said, "Very well." And he transformed Nandi's body so that it would live forever. It could take on the form of a bull, and it would be with Shiva for all time. And they're best friends. They like look out for each other. And part of this is to illustrate the idea that through devotion and through dedication, you can think of it as to something outer or to your inner consciousness, your truest self. We can actually transform our bodies. We can cure them of their maladies. I was just lecturing to a teacher training group yesterday. Hi, if anybody's watching, and talking about the power of the mind. And in dissociative identity disorder, also known as multiple personality disorder, different personalities residing in the same bodies can actually have different scars. Physical scars can come and go, and different response to medication can happen with different personalities, and different conditions we would consider to just be physical, like diabetes, lazy eye, um, allergies. They come and go based on the personality. And if you're interested, Daniel Goleman wrote an excellent article on that for the New York Times back in 1988. You can look that up, Goleman. And so this goes to show that through our inner, deeply held beliefs, we can influence our vehicle. And one of the things we can really change about how our vehicle manifests is, do we love it? Especially in Western culture, we're often taught that our body is never good enough. It's too thin, it's too fat, it's too old, it's too this, it's too that, it's too black, it's too white, it's too, all this stuff that's impermanent and comes and goes. Whatever vehicle we've been given, may it become our best friend. May we realize it gives form to the immaterial divine that is really us. As we meditate today, if you'd like, you can mentally repeat the syllable Va, V-A, which starts the form of Lord Shiva that we are dedicating the practice to today. It starts Vahanam, it starts Vrishvo, which is a word for bull. It relates to our vehicles. Va, va. In fact, if you want to heal your vehicle, maybe you can repeat that anytime during the day. Shall we? It's a beautiful day. Let us switch. Wonderful. By being who we truly are, we can be healed. Let's spend the next 5 minutes contemplating that and perhaps va. Welcome back. So we can heal our bodies just by being ourselves. That's one of the great teachings of yoga. One of the things I'll talk about in the upcoming season of sadhana program is I have undergone physical changes from this sadhana. Maybe you have as well. And one more thing to consider is we've got our personal vehicles. Let's be our body's best friend, but also we have this vehicle that we're all riding through space upon, Mother Earth. And I'm mentioning her because the past couple days here where I am, it's been over 30 degrees Fahrenheit or almost 20 degrees Celsius warmer than average. And while I like it, on some levels, it's a bit concerning. So let's be good best friends to our body, and perhaps best friends to the earth from which our bodies come and to which they shall return. I hope you return tomorrow. Until then, where's the button? The sunbeam. Let's see, let's try that. Does it work?